Hi, you guys. Welcome back. If you've been here for a little minute, welcome if this is your first time visiting this channel. My name is Selena. I'm an RN here in New York City, and I love to talk everything nursing. Okay, let's just jump right into this video. So, what prompted today's video is I was at work today, and a patient's family member asked me, it was a young girl, and she asked me, she said she wanted to go to school for nursing and asked me, should she become a LPN first or an RN, go straight for her RN. So I made a little reel for TikTok and I did post it here on YouTube for, people always making it a thing about people wanting to become an LPN versus an RN. So I'm like, okay, so this would be a good topic to discuss, right? So I wrote down a whole bunch of notes when I have some free time at work. So I'm going to be reading from my notes just to kind of stay on track and not go too far, right? All right, so, okay. I do feel like, honestly speaking, LPN or RN, right? That's the question. So I do feel like if your end goal is to be an RN, I do believe you should absolutely go straight for go straight for that, right? You would take your prereqs, which is like your anatomy and physiology, your chemistry. Some schools want you to take chemistry, microbiology, so forth and so on, right? You would take your prereqs, and then you would of course try to score high in these classes because most LPN schools are very competitive. So you would try to score as high as you can and then apply for your RN program after that, right? And then hopefully you score high enough and you're able to get in. All right. So let me just give you guys a little bit of background. Back in I want to say 2009, right? I had a young child. My daughter was 2 at the time, and I was going to go into an LPN program. And the reason why I opted to go into an LPN program was because I had recently become a single mom and I needed to make money. And that was the fastest way. I knew I wanted to be a nurse, but I figured, okay, at least if I become an LPN for the time being, and then bridge over into an RN program, right? That's what my thought process was to go to school, finish within 11 months, take the boards, begin working, begin making money, and then once I'm settled, bridge over into an RN program, right? Okay. If you're in New York City, you're probably familiar with the program the school is called VEEP out in Long Island. And I tried to get into their program, but for some reason I could not pass the entrance exam, the math part of the entrance exam. So I did not pass, and so I didn't get in, right? So then I tried for a school that's in the city, Mildred Ellie. Mildred Ellie had an LPN program, and for that same thing, I did not pass the TEAS exam. So for Mildred Ellie, they wanted me to go into the associate's medical MA program, medical assistant program. They said that if I did 2 semesters of that, I would be able to retake the TEAS exam, and then if I passed, I would be able to get in. That didn't happen. I did do the 2 semesters, and then when I was trying to retake the TEAS entrance exam, so while I was doing the 2 semesters, I was studying the TEAS book so that I would be able to sit for the exam again and hopefully pass so that I could get in. So once it became time for me to take the exam again, the school was giving me the runaround, telling me, that I had to finish the MA program. So they told me one thing in the beginning, and then when it was time to actually do that, they changed their mind or changed the protocol or whatever. So I'm like, all right, so y'all basically swindled me into finishing this this MA degree, and I'm like, no, I really don't want this. I have no desire to be a medical assistant. So then I stopped. Finally, I just stopped because I'm like, this is the waste of student financial aid. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. So I just became a home health aide. And I'm like, all right. Basically, it was no money, but I'm like, I can at least work around my daughter's schedule and let that be that, right? So that's what it was for years. I was a home health aide for years. And then I stumbled upon the school that I did go to, which is St. Paul's School of Nursing. And I was, you know, I don't know if I mentioned it on this channel before, but the first time I did not pass once again, the math part of the entrance exam. I don't know, something with me in math, it just never sits right with me. I never understand it, and that's just that. But the first time I took it, I did not pass. The second time I took it, I passed, and I was able to get into the program, right? But I say all of that to say that in the beginning, before I became an RN, I was looking into going into being an LPN, right? So I just want people to realize that you have to do what's best for you in your situation, right? Like if you know that you're in a crunch for money, or whatever the scenario may be, or maybe you're not really sure if nursing is the thing that you really want to do. LPN is great to start with. You can start as an LPN, get your feet wet, start working, and ultimately decide if this is something that you really want to do or not. Even if you know, like, I don't know where this negative thought process is coming from. Oh, LPNs are not real nurses. I believe it stands for licensed practical nurse. So where it has nurse in the title. So why would you ever say that LPNs are not nurses? LPNs are nurses, and I know a lot of great LPNs at that fact. So like, once again, for me, when I first started as a nurse, I was in the nursing home setting. And the nursing home setting, RNs are supervisors and LPNs are the charge nurses on the floor. And I distinctly remember there was 2 LPNs that worked at this particular facility that were very good. They were very, very, very good at their job, and they taught me a lot. I learned a lot from them. Still to this day, a lot of things that they taught me, I remember, and I, you know, when situations arise, I always think back to the things that they taught me. And both of them, like me being an RN, I was talking to them, and I'm like, you know, once I became cool with them and I started talking to them, and I'm like, you know, is it your goal to be an RN? And both of them honestly said no. Honestly, they were like, you know, we're good with where we currently are. And I'm like, respect, like that's okay. Everybody's goal isn't to be an RN, you know. And then I like, a lot of the times once you become an RN, people will try to push you into becoming a nurse practitioner. If that's not your thing, if that's not what you want to do, don't let anyone force you or push you to do something that you just honestly don't want to do. And, you know, like I said, once again, LPNs are nurses. LPNs are trained to think like nurses. LPNs are trained to do a lot of things. And being an LPN does not make you any less of a nurse. I mean, once again, ultimately, like if you want to become an RN, go back to school to become an RN. If that's not your thing, if you want to just have your LPN license and do other things in the time being, that's okay too. Like, it's okay to do what you want to do. Don't let social media, don't let family, don't let anybody make you feel like you got to make a move that you're just not ready for, or that you just don't want to do. And another thing I'm hearing a lot on social media is LPNs don't make no money. Where they don't make money at? I know LPNs who make 6 figures, clear 6 figures every year. So, you know, I don't know where people are getting this misinformation from, but once again, If that's not, if you know, just becoming an LPN is where you want to start and finish, that's okay. If you want to become an RN, that's okay. If you don't want to further your education and become an NP, that is okay. Like, it's okay to do what you want to do. I know so many LPNs who have like med spas, who do other things along with their license, and they're happy and they're okay. They don't want the stress of becoming an RN. Look at, they don't have this. So they're good. So I don't know. I just want people to be a little more kinder to each other and stop talking down to people and on people who choose to do the LPN thing. I don't see anything wrong with it at all. And back to the point where I was getting at earlier, the young lady who asked me, you know, I asked her a couple of questions just to kind of like see like what her situation was. I'm like, you know, do you have children? Is it your goal to become an RN? Like what is your plans? You know, and she basically told me what her plans were, and I told her I think that, you know, she has 2 kids, so I told her that I think LPN was a great place to start. You got to start somewhere, especially like with how competitive nursing school is these days. Like, not saying that LPN isn't competitive too, because it is, but I'm just saying, like, if you know that you may need some extra time to work your way up to that, work your way up to becoming an RN, I think LPN is good. It's a good move. It's a great way to go. You'll learn a lot in your program. You'll learn a lot once you start working. And ultimately, that was the advice I gave her. I'm like, you have 2 small children, and she like made it known to me that she needed to make money like yesterday. So then I'm like, you know, LPN is a good way to go. It's a great way to go. It's a great way to start. You start making some money and then fly on and do your thing from there. So that's all I got for this video. I hope to catch you guys in the next one.